Welcome back. I know we're joined by Dr. Oladapo Ashinyobi, who is a public health physician. He's also a sustainable development consultant. Thank you for joining us this morning on the program. Well, you know, the thing about this is public health, epidemiologists, GPs, there's so many things going through several people's minds, but all of this lockdown, I know they've talked lockdown, I know they've talked about economic consideration, livelihood, putting all of those in the picture before taking our decision. And perhaps health experts like yourself, you always have certain views which you think should be the case. But considering how we're approaching some of these things, what's going through your mind?
Thank you very much, Kimberly. Actually, in the field of public health, health has three dimensions: physical, social, mental. And those three have to be in sync for you to have the optimal state of health, both for individuals and community. Now, looking at the physical one, those are the figures. We won't be afraid. We will say it's rising. So why are we relaxing the lockdown? However, let's put that figures into perspective. Our demographic dynamic is kind of helping us. Most of our population is young. Our life expectancy is less than 60 years. And we know that COVID has the worst impact on the elderly and those who have pre-existing conditions. And most elderly people have it. So we really don't have too many of that. I mean, less than 10% of our population is over 60. So even if it's going to have any effect, we would have seen it by now. We can hide illness in the home, but we cannot hide dead bodies. So if people were dying in droves, the cemetery and those who are buried, like it has happened in some other counties and cities in Nigeria, would have shown it. And even in those cities, if you follow the trend, you see that most people who died were elderly. So our demographic dynamics is different from that of Europe, where you have or America or first world countries, where you have a lot of elderly people, and so people die in homes, in elderly people's home, and then the death rate is very high. So clearly, it's not having that kind of effect in Africa. So settled, physical. Now, we have to now look at the social and the mental. The social is our way of life, which is our economy, our relationship, our religion, our parties, everything that makes us. And if that is not balanced with the physical, then there is a mental component that we will all be dealing with. And so it's a tough balance, but if you want to make a situation, you want to make a decision, you have to put all this into perspective and say, okay, if you're really not that dying, so many people will be infected because it's a very infectious disease, but it's not likely going to kill many the way we see in other times. So why remain in a lockdown? So I think it is fair enough that if you put it on a scale, you will tilt towards let's not over-focus on the numbers alone of the infected. I mean, you see the numbers itself, those who are in this are just increasing too. So clearly, something is working, both naturally and what we did. And secondly, socially, we now have to look at that aspect and prepare for the new normal, as what everybody wants to call it.
But you know, let me ask you this. When you speak about the new normal, I mean, my colleagues have highlighted this as well, because what we see out there, it's actually different from some of the measures that they announced and they expect people to abide by. Because look, there are those who just believe, look, to them, it's business as usual. So all of those other processes, you just literally see that they are just doing certain things to fulfill all righteousness. Some even tell you outrightly, you think I really believe some of this things going on? So this is what reflects out there on the streets. So how can that be defined? How does that fit into the new normal which you speak about?
So there are many new normals. You see, it's not just one new normal. my normal as an individual, or my concern, or the concern of my group as a member of the society who are professionals will be different from the concern of the ordinary man on the street. Will be different from somebody who is losing billions, millions, thousands every day, who will not really be affected by too much of the economic impact. Then it's also be different from those who feed daily, who, if they don't go out daily, something happens. Now, the belief in whether it is real or not is actually not out of place. Do you know why? When it comes to diseases that don't kill a lot of people somehow, some way, or not much, I mean, the effect is not much, it's challenging for professionals like us to let them understand. For example, let me use immunization as an example. So you beg people to go and get immunization, and they look, this child is okay. I mean, the mindset is only when someone is sick, that's when the child needs to be injected, right? So you say, no, this one actually needs this injection not to be sick. And people like you was the first. Now, this same person, this same caregiver, you said last week or 3 weeks ago that the child is around, like, look, don't worry, let me go and attend to my social condition, market, get there. Then the child gets ill, and they run back. Can you please inject this child now? Do you see? So it's not something that people can really introspect properly and put into perspective. Prevention is better than cure, but prevention is not really appreciated. And that's why you see people still have diabetes. Everybody knows what the issue is. Don't smoke, don't drink, exercise, eat well. Then we do the opposite. Because, I mean, we are apparently healthy. Then when we have it, then we now start to take action. So it's understandable, not excusable. But there's not much you can do. Behavioral change is one of the most challenging things to achieve for people who are apparently healthy.
So when, I mean, the kind of, if I could use the term, vibes you get from the PTF and, you know, the task forces around states about these measures, now we've moved into another phase. And when you talked about our figures, our data, the fact that our fatality rate is not as high as, you know, you would expect or you have seen across other countries. But the challenge here is we have heard that we've not even gotten to the peak yet. And the big question is, what does the peak look like? Is it 2,000, cases a day? Is it 5,000 cases a day? We don't entirely know what that peak is. So don't you think it's a challenge? I mean, looking at the figures we have now to decide, rather than looking at what the possibility might be in the future and say, because we don't want to hit that, this is what we have to do.
All right. Now, if you look at the figures, there is what you call nominal figures. That means the exact thing you're looking at. But you also have to look at the percentages. So now, let's just, for the sake of discussion, say we have 500,000 cases. It will not change that we don't have many old people that the disease is likely going to impact, right? So the percentages will remain the same. The nominal figures will rise. On the average, we're seeing between 2 to 3% death rate, right? So even if you have 500,000 people, we will still be seeing between 2 to 3% death rate. Though the figures will rise, however, you mentioned something, you said the expected number of deaths. Actually, the expected number of deaths, if you look at our demographic, is what we are getting. As in, we do not have too many people who will be susceptible to being very ill and dying. Because that's what resonates in the mind of people. People who get the disease and don't have symptoms or get a mild form, which is the majority, don't resonate in the mind of people. And so that is why you get that seemingly cure for the disease. People say it works. I mean, if 8 out of 10 people are going to be okay, right? Now, out of those 8 out of 10, somebody takes garlic, then another person takes another drug, and another person takes another drug, and they were all going to be well anyway, then everybody will say that's what makes it work. Then you have in that same mix, set of people who have it will be really afraid, do follow government regulation, and still get better. But at the end of the day, it doesn't resonate that much. It is the small the 3 to 5% that resonates in the mind of people.
Okay, let me.
And that was
Let me just add this. Let me just add this, I mean, to that, trail of thought. Now, with more people getting infected means some possible overwhelming of our healthcare system because they will need to get care. And that's a possibility that even those at the forefront, the healthcare workers, might also be affected. At this point, we have 812 of them infected. We don't know what will happen if we have more cases on a daily basis. That means we need to purchase more PPEs, as it were, basically to beef up our defense line. So, yes, the fatality, of which people are even saying at the early stages, you probably have low fatalities, and eventually this might increase. So even though that is the case now, there are other areas that this would affect majorly. So looking at that also, how do you factor that in?
Well, don't forget that the health system is a mirror of the whole system and the whole nation. So if we don't have too many old people in the whole community, then you will not have too many old health workers. So they're likely going to be young people. And so they're also going to fall into the range of most of them, 8 out of 10, who might get infected inadvertently or at their job and even at their home. Don't forget that we're now in community transmission. So it doesn't mean that health workers are all going to be infected at work. They will actually have been infected at home and bring it to work, or vice versa, because we're in community transmission. But most of them will show no symptoms. Most of them who may not get tested will still be okay, and then we move forward. Now, for those, but that does not remove the responsibility of government to protect them at work. Now, that does not remove their own responsibility to follow the general public health advisory at home. Hand washing, social distancing, and all that. That may not be at work. Please follow that at home. But when you come to work, it is not the responsibility of government. It's okay, fine. If I don't have this many cases, and they're going to come to you, whether mostly asymptomatically and few be symptomatic, you still need to be protected at work using the minimum infection prevention control procedure, i.e. PPE, hand washing, social distancing, waste management, health education, and all what's not. So it doesn't remove that responsibility. And then government must think proactively. How well can we manage this, thinking of the new normal of rising number of cases and what we can do to mitigate the impact on the health system, the health worker. Thank you.
And speaking about that, continuation on that, when the WHO did say that they were halting or suggest some implications about hydroxychloroquine, and then the NAFDAC did say here, look, our trials will continue. And then you hear the NCDC reviewing their own protocol. Well, you no longer have to test negative twice. I think they say if it's once, yes, you can be off. And then several other, now they talk about the antibiotics component. So from your experience, from what you've seen relating with people, does it impact on their behavior in terms of believability or how they adapt to this novel coronavirus?
Well, it's only when people see that they believe, unfortunately. But you're not likely going to see because most people, even if they are infected, will be okay. So it's hard to believe. Now, I'll tell you a funny story. I know of somebody who was infected. And because of his infection, he disclosed to a lot of people, right? He sent out messages and videos, and people saw it, and they were like, wow, this is real, because they know this person. Right on the very street where this happened, the elderly people got up and started chasing the young boys on the street playing football. That, can you not see this our respected person is infected? Go into the home. So, because they saw somebody they could relate with get infected, the elderly ones took it upon themselves to ensure social distancing. And the perception among that community has changed a bit, just because they saw. So that is what makes people understand that it is real. Now, we have many more communities that don't still believe it's real because they don't have a personal experience. But the more the disease spreads, many more sensational stories will be told, and many, many, many more will not be told. And that will change the behavior of some people. And so I believe, going forward, Nigerians are not that irresponsible. It's just challenging to take behavioral change to people when they have not seen the impact and they are apparently well.
Okay, Leon, let me bring in this perspective, this component of it, because part of what I was trying to say is that those messaging coming from the appropriate bodies in this case, albeit they seem conflicting. The WHO says certain things about hydroxychloroquine. NAFDAC says, well, we're going to continue here because, I mean, over here, we know how chloroquine, malaria experiences have also shown to be certain cases. I'm talking about consistency or otherwise, because how people interpret those messages, it's different from how they put out these messages, because they already have a book. They could say a thing or two about COVID-19 when it started, and then they discover new things. So having to internalize all of that and unlearn what they already know before could be a challenge for certain people who already made up their minds about certain things. So I'm asking you now, does that influence or affect the way people believe and respond to some of these guidelines, or even to some of the expectations that public health physicians will have of them?
Okay, now you have to put all this into a perspective of why they happen and why those decisions were taken. So there is an international study for chloroquine, and WHO stopped it halfway because some studies say it is dangerous. But you have to be a professional to understand those things very well. And that's why professionals must come up and talk about it a bit so that people will get a community understanding of it. So they stopped the trial because the trial was done in people who are very ill. And along the way, they found out that chloroquine would likely affect their heart condition and cause more damage. So they couldn't continue. So get this very well. Elderly people were very ill. And these people, I mean, let's assume they don't take chloroquine. They're really very ill anyway. So it's most likely they'll have more problems. So if you use chloroquine that may cause any type of small problem, is likely going to just add to that. So some people are saying you chose the wrong subject. You should have used the right subject. Now, my own view and how I see it is this, that it's challenging for WHO to pick people who are mildly okay or who are asymptomatic. You know why? For me, you'll be addressing the wrong problem, because people who are mildly okay or okay, if you give them chloroquine, somebody else might not argue, well, they were going to get better anyway. And really, the real challenge is we don't want people to die. So maybe that was why they picked those who are really ill and hope that chloroquine will salvage them. But that is an academic discourse between two schools of thought, that use it for those who are okay, and some are like using for those who are very bad. And so the academic world will sort themselves out. But they could not have seen that it had some effect that they didn't want on the study subject and continued. It will be seriously unprofessional and unethical. Now, what should the public understand from that? That, let's say from Nigeria, so NAFDAC say we should continue. And we're likely going to now decide how do we want to continue. Now, should we divide our patient selection to those who are very ill, which will likely mean we will repeat what WHO is doing, or mix the match and then see what the results will come to. Now, if the result shows that it will be of significant difference, then we may adopt it. Every nation has its own population, its own people, and so they should conduct their own research and protect their own by domesticating that research.
Okay, so well,
for the public,
yeah,
this
research
is going on.
Okay,
everybody has evidence that fits their purpose.
Let me bring in this.
And we're watching.
Would you, because I mean, from what we see out there, because we just ask questions of people different times to see how do the messaging from the relevant bodies reflect, how do they internalize all of those messaging. Even if you watch from a distance, it does appear, perhaps in addition to interacting with people, it does appear as though once they hit the streets, economic considerations take preeminence over and above any health consideration whatsoever. Do you think that's the case?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that it's difficult to tell people not to leave. I mean, the alternative is to tell them stay at home, stay hungry and die. Now, when they go out to earn a living, now the message is like you should earn a living, but please be careful. We should keep hammering those messages. We should not be deterred by hammering them. However, I think we should change our approach. And what I mean by that is, I think the messaging should come from the community leaders who understand. With a lot of them who understand how to participate in health mobilization in a bottom-up approach. So, let's say we recruit people who they respect as religious leaders, as those who will carry on this message. So when they come to the mosque, right, the imam says, you don't have your mask, you don't come in. Then he puts it as part of his messaging. It rings better. When they go to the market and the head of the market union, they call themselves, look, it is mandatory we all have a mask, and then we have the places around the market that they themselves actually provide. It's not the government bringing it, they provide it. So they will insist, when you come to the market, wash your hands. At different shops, maybe every 10 or 10.
Add just one more thing before. Okay, so sorry to jump in. We're just trying to lump in a couple of more things before we wrap up. You know, there's so many perspectives actually on this kind of matter. I'm just trying to see how to phrase this question such that, because yes, when I heard you say yes or no, I thought, is that the politician in you saying yes or no? But yes, it's a public health thing and it needs to be addressed as such. But these kind of messaging, for instance, from what you've seen, what has changed in people? Has it helped people stop self-medicating? So those kind of behavioral changes are what we're looking to see, if it's changed, if it's going to be a new normal for them. But for instance now, when... Yeah, go ahead.
No, finish your question. Finish your question.
Because I was just wondering, because if you look at how there's a lot of focus on prevention, wearing of face masks, how to keep social distancing, but are we focusing enough on what to do when you exhibit one or two symptoms on those NCDC suspected cases? If I've got a little flu, malaria, because almost anything, people say it may be symptoms of COVID. Are we focusing on all of those, boosting your immune system, and are people relating with that as much as the social distancing concept and the rest of them?
Well, the social distance, because we know it's challenging to keep because of our socio-economic makeup. That's why you have masks to be a source control of infection. So if you cough or sneeze, you're going to cough or sneeze inside the mask. So that's source control. However, moving beyond that, we should still say all the other things. We should not remove them. Now, the second one is, how do we behave? What should we do when we have people have some symptoms that is COVID-like? We should behave according to the health advisory. Meaning, that means if you are ill, then do more social distancing. Stay at home more. Don't go to the health facility, call them, have somebody call them, relate with a professional, and they will tell you what to do. Look, because of COVID, it's not going to change that we'll still have more people with cough and catarrh the way we used to have. The rainy seasons have come, and things that have to do with rainy season will also come, like more diarrhea diseases because of our dirty environment, our environmental sanitation is not that good. So we will still have more diarrhea disease now. Disease associated with rain will come. And
all right, well, I guess what we'll do, okay, I'm afraid we need to anchor at that point. Thank you very much indeed for your thoughts this morning. Well, we'll be back in a moment. Please join us again.